But my name is Drew Thompson. I am a fashion designer by trade, and I currently own a fashion design studio and fabric store in Cleveland, Ohio. I also teach sewing classes. I teach at Cuyahoga Community College, and I also do mentoring programs and other things for other creative entrepreneurs. So I was chilling today. I had some stuff to do around the house, but this news came in about Joann Fabrics and the 500 out of 800 stores they're closing. That is huge. I mean, I knew, they were going to probably do some downsizing, but no way did I think they were going to close. That's 500 stores. That is major. Um, they're actually closing the store that I like to go to. So that sucks a little bit because it's about maybe 25 minutes from my house, but it was convenient because it was also a couple other stores on the way. So it's like a Hobby Lobby, it was a Michaels, Target, so it was pretty convenient. And that store, I don't even know, that store been there forever. So there's quite a few people there. I'm gonna be sad to see leave. This was kind of, it kind of sucks. Um, Although I do own a fabric store myself, I do go to Joann's probably once a week just for, maybe some notions or just something I gotta pick up. But the last couple weeks has been kind of weird. So maybe the week before last, went to Joann's. They closed early. They usually close at 9. They closed at 6. So that kind of threw me off. But I was glad I ended up getting what I needed from a different store. But I always just made a habit. It was like if I'm that close to Joann's, I'm going in there. That's just what I did. I mean, I've been sewing for over 30 years, so Joann Fabrics has been a part of my sewing journey. Oh man, it's just, whew. I mean, I can't. I mean, they've had so many different Joanns throughout the city, and I've probably been to a lot of them. So, um, we know in business, some things must end, and we have to figure out other ways to get around it. But that's gonna be pretty rough. They still have two other locations still open. Um, they're not as close as this other location, and I mean, I guess I have to figure it out, like most of us. So I posted the news on my Facebook and on my Instagram. A lot of people are really, really taken back by it. I was taken aback by it when I actually heard. Like I said, I didn't think they were going to close 500 stores. That is a lot. They have 800 stores and closing more than half. Um, Joanne's has done a couple things that I didn't particularly care for, but they did make it so that they were the only game in town. So after a while, Joann's was the only place to shop. You can go to Walmart for certain things. Michael started having fabric. Hobby Lobby popped up, but as far as an all-in-one, beginning to end place, depending on what you needed, Joann's was kind of that place. Um, I think a couple things they did wrong was maybe they got kind of weird with the coupons. It got kind of confusing and coupons, and they have a rewards program. I mean, stuff like that. They start messing around with the coupons and their pattern sales and things that people who've been sewing there for a long time kind of got used to. They start messing around with that. They also start kind of messing around with like the fabric selection. They did pick up their fabric selection the last couple years. Very nice fabrics. Maybe it was too little, too late. For somebody who like me who makes all type of things and prom and weddings and suits. We did often find ourselves having to go shop elsewhere, online or different things like that, because the quality of the fabric just wasn't there. Another thing I think they missed the opportunity was that, and this is how long I've been sewing. You had to know how to sew to work there, even just a basic sewing knowledge. And I think where they dropped the ball was that when they stopped making that a requirement to work there, that's not necessarily just full on being a designer, but I think they probably could have took it upon themselves to keep teaching their employees how to sew. Um, Even with my little small studio, I got to the point if the person didn't know how to sew coming in, I still would teach them. So I would like they always could take classes at my studio. That's part of their employment. Um, and for the most part, I realized I did have to teach my own help. So if somebody as small as I was figure that out. I don't understand why Joanne's couldn't figure that out. I think that was a big thing. And another thing, what I really think they dropped the ball just from talking to other people, they also dropped the ball when they stopped having classes. And although the classes weren't that thorough, people did like the whole idea of being a community. So you'll have a sewing class and people will come together. So not only did they build community with the classes, I think Joanne has missed the opportunity also because those people are going to buy stuff. So those are a couple things I think what happened to them. I'm gonna have some other ideas too. No, they were not the best. Sometimes they did used to piss me off, but I'm be sad to see them go. Not necessarily just for me. I do know other ways to get things, but I have some, some people in some of my groups, they're really upset about it. A lot of them, they don't shop online. They shop, in Joann's. And depending on the city, everybody kind of looked at Joann's differently. Some people have more of a community type thing going on with Joann's. Like I said, I knew it was certain people there I would see all the time. I mean, they had a big turnover rate, but there were some women in there who I've probably been seeing 20 years. So it's gonna be pretty sucky. Hopefully they get another job or get to move somewhere else in the company. But with 500 people, oh, that's gonna be just it's a lot of job loss. So I mean, I'm just now thinking about that. That's just really gonna suck. Um, so I did want to jump on this live. I was gonna wait to do one tomorrow so I could be more in depth, but I put some notes together and wanted to talk to my fellow business owners. If you own a creative business, if you own a fabric store, if you're a fashion designer, or if you're a DIY person, anybody that's going to Joann's, I think you taking this news. I mean, I don't care if you liked it or not. I don't care if you didn't really shop there often. If you made clothes to some capacity, you definitely went to Joann's for something. You last minute, you need a zipper. Last minute, you need interfacing. Your needle broke. Some way, somehow, you're going to Joann's. So I just want to give a couple tips for what you can do and maybe start doing before they close everything. If they're closing this 500 now, and if they don't get things straightened out, the rest of them are going to close. So I think your best bet is to start thinking of other alternatives. Actually, ran into that same exact problem the other day, and I needed just some things for my sewing classes. So I had gotten to the habit of always just going to Joann's to, get the little cottons for class and get my patterns and put an order in, and they canceled the entire order. I was shocked because they didn't say anything. They just canceled the order. So I realized my first instinct was to say, hey, tell people to go to different Joann's to get all my patterns, and because they had marked the patterns down to 199 too, which is something they have not done in years. They had used to have pattern sales, then the marking the patterns back to 299. Now they have marked the patterns down to 199. That's a little tidbit in case you're out shopping. Um, what they ended up doing was canceling my entire order. Uh-oh. Canceling my entire order, and so I had to go to the store. So I ended up going to get my fabrics. Also looked online at some things, and just started to train myself to look at different alternatives instead of worrying that joints is going to be here and panicking because my classes are going on, my clients are here. I have to keep going. So um, I did find some alternatives. You definitely want to look at local alternatives. And I myself, as a small business owner, as someone who sells fabric and sewing supplies, um, we don't really get a lot of traffic. We get people in for maybe very specific things. We don't sell zippers and interfacing and stuff like that, but we don't sell zippers and interfacing and stuff like that. But you can come in and get fabrics. I don't necessarily know if I want to get into the notions part of it. I think that's a little more detailed than I want to get into as a boutique owner. But I think your best bet is to look at some of the local alternatives. So you might want to just look at some of your smaller businesses, some of the smaller clothing stores, and you always could just go right to Google and say fabric stores near me, or go into some of the groups, or go to next door. Next door is my spot. Go to next door and ask about local fabric stores, but just go ahead and start now looking at some of your local fabric stores. I know here in Cleveland we have my store. We have a place called Bolt. Got a couple other ones. I can't think of all the names right now. No, Bolt and Spool. That's her name. My one friend just opened a fabric store. I cannot think of the name of her store. And then we got a couple. So they're not like Joann's. Obviously, they don't sell like the zippers and the thread and the buttons and all that stuff. But I mean, they do probably do sell buttons, but they don't sell like all the notions, like the interface and the thread and stuff like that. But I think till you get your rhythm and figure it out, I mean, between me and you, excuse me, Walmart sells thread, zippers. Michaels sells thread and zippers. Michaels has a little bit of a basic sewing department. I know we were talking about local, but I'm just going into some other alternatives. So, start now just searching, maybe asking on Facebook, Google, Nextdoor, where your local stores are. Online, I know a lot of people always say they don't like shopping online because they want to touch, feel, and all that stuff. But you got to figure out a way to start going online. So I shop at Mood, of course. That's a little bit more expensive, but for prom and weddings, I go to some of the more expensive websites. Spoon Flower is cool, but they actually make the fabric, so that might be somewhere it's going to be a little bit more expensive. Um, excuse me, ooh, excuse me, SD and just to go in, and you're gonna just have to get a little arsenal, maybe 5 or 10 stores that you're always gonna look at. Believe it or not, Amazon sells fabric, so people like me or other small businesses, they do put their products on Amazon. So just because you feel like you're buying from Amazon, sometimes you're buying from a small business. So that's some stuff that you just want to think about as well. So online and your local places. One thing we talk about with sewing and knitting and creating period is like you create some type of community. Um, you might want to try to seek out other crafters. So like I purposely joined like a couple textile groups, a couple quilting group. Even though I don't quilt, it's still talking about sewing. So I joined, and actually I'm missing my little meeting that I have online. It's a little quilting, a bunch of quilting ladies, and they sit and talk every Wednesday. So I actually missed that today to come talk to you guys, which is fine. Um, I think Wednesday is going to be my day, but I think they meet every other week or something like that. Um, you also want to try to maybe use this as an opportunity to try new things. So sometimes I like it. You get into this mundane, everyday, so and so, same thing. Like I mentioned, I go to Joann's and I just always feel like I have to go there, even though I don't need anything. So maybe with the closures, or as if your favorite store is closing in your area, it's going to push you and give you an opportunity to try some new things, maybe experience some different fabrics. Try to step your game up. If you're always using cotton, move up to wool or linen. You can give you a chance to explain your craft. So you kind of don't want to look at the closures as a bad thing. You want to stay positive about it, and just continue to figure out how you're gonna service your customers, or keep expanding your craft. Um, I think one of the things what threw me off was it's no more gonna be no more last minute. If I need something, I'm gonna have to plan more. So I think that's another tip that I wrote down, that you are gonna want to plan. So plan ahead. Maybe buy in bulk. Maybe sit and plan out your ideas. So like if you know you need a red tinted separated zipper, you can't run to Walmart and get that zipper. That's gonna be something that you're gonna need a little bit more specialized. So you got to figure out how you can order it online. Um, Maybe keep an eye out for closeouts and garage sales and stuff like that. You could buy bulk items. So now it's the time to just start planning and just really thinking about what you want. And it's hard because someone you can buy too much. That's probably my current problem right now. I just have too much of everything for someone. and I'm actually in the process of downsizing and trying to get, sell some of that stuff down. Uh, Primarily, Hustle and Soul is a channel in which we talk to a lot of different creative entrepreneurs. So, in between, if you still just can't figure it out with this joy and fabrics thing, if you still figure out a way as a business owner how you're going to maneuver, this economy with now these closures, and now people are worried about supply chains. If you're having problems with those things, I do offer coaching for creative entrepreneurs, all entrepreneurs actually. Um, I do offer coaching. I've helped people all over in New York, and I have clients from everywhere. So I've helped people figure out ways to create strategies that can help their business. I have been in business personally, 13 years. So I do, have an idea on how to help people. So if you are in the market for looking for a coach or just maybe somebody to bounce some ideas off of, I put the link in my description, how you can book a call with me. And if you don't want to necessarily do a one on one, like if we do a one on one session, we are going to start a inner circle coaching group at the beginning of March. Pretty excited about it. And again, if you're interested in that, you can just write group in the chat and then I'll send you some information. So in closing, like I said, I've got a couple ideas. I just want to jump on and give a couple ideas about what to do with all these closings. So number one was to look for alternative local options first. Number two is explore online. Number three is you connect with your community. So you want to find sewing groups in your area or quilting groups or maybe they might have some DIY groups. You want to connect with those people online. um, think about trying some new things for your someone or your projects, and you want to just try to plan ahead. Even if you have to sit down and write some projects out in a little planner, you might want to do that. So, didn't want to stay on here long. Thank you very much for joining or watching. If you're watching later, make sure if you to follow my page, follow me on Instagram at Drew Christine, follow me on Facebook at Drew Christine. I'm on everything. So Drew Christine, I'm on here as Hustle and Soul. Make sure you follow and you share my page. And in closing, like with everybody else, this is a lot, the Joann Fabrics closing. But I think thank God this wasn't 20 years ago when there was no internet, or well, maybe not 20, well, 30 years ago when there wasn't any internet or any as many fabric store choices to buy from. I think it's going to be very a little bit easier than before to transition and move over to get some things for your projects. So just stay positive. Don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. I mean, it is bad, but don't just think that's going to be a way. Because you, as a business owner and a creator, you still have to get things done. So your customer's not going to want to hear that. Oh, I can't find this fabric. Excuse me. Customers not going to hear, oh, I can't find this fabric, or I can't. They don't want to hear that. So your job is to still create for your customer, still get everything done, still fill your orders. So you're just gonna have to like rethink your strategies and try to figure out just a different way to do things. I hope you found this video useful. Like I said, I did jump on today, February 12th, 2025. That is when the list came out of some of the stores, the 500 stores that Joann Fabrics is closing. That list came out, and I posted it on my pages, and people really just immediately was drawn to that article and drawn to the post and started really just connecting with everything. So just wanted to jump on to say that, and thanks for watching. And remember, just sewing and designing and creating is supposed to be fun. So we can't ever let any of this stuff stress us out. And so thanks for joining, and I will be back next week with another video, with another topic, or I maybe come back sooner. I did want to talk more about what business owners can do in this tumultuous time. I mean, more like in depth. Right now, we're just talking about like just on the surface level what you can do. But if we might talk a little bit more, a little bit longer, and talk next time about what to do. So thanks for joining, everybody. Be sure to follow and subscribe my page, and definitely share this live with anybody you think it would be find helpful. And so thanks for joining everybody. This is Drew. Peace.